What is up? Today, let's talk about becoming a necessity and not a commodity to your clients. Point one is you're not just a videographer, you're a storyteller. What that really means is that when we come to clients or even create personal projects, you're not just trying to create a video, you're trying to tell a story. And that's where the most impactful videos are created that evoke emotion. So think about the biggest brands like Nike, Adidas in the sports world, or even like Porsche, Mercedes, BMW, just all these big companies that are super well known. It's all about focusing on telling that story and creating that brand. Having a beginning, middle, and end is so important, and that's where like story is king, right? The term that means if you're providing entertainment for the viewer, the cool thing is that you get to choose how they feel throughout that video. Point number two, provide value and solutions and not just a video. So when a client comes to you and says, hey, we need a 30-second video for our social media, or we need this brand video, and then you ask, well, what's your budget? Or what do you want? And they usually come back to you and they're like, well, what is your budget? You know, like the age-old question, and you have like that little standoff, like, well, you reword it and you're like, well, how much money do you want to spend? You know, like that type of stuff. And what it comes down to is looking at that brand that either approaches you or a brand that you want to approach, looking for something that they could do better at. So say Nike, perhaps, an example, say you think they're lacking in one area of like a running commercial and you could do it better and tell that story. You want to come to them with a solution and be like, hey, this is what I can do for you. And so you're already positioning yourself as a value-added asset to them and not just someone who comes and makes videos, because anybody can pick up a camera, press the record button, put it on their computer and like send it to the client, right? The third point, which is my personal favorite, is something that I call the long game. So sometimes you come to a brand with an idea and they're like, okay, that sounds cool, but we don't have capacity or bandwidth or budget to do so right now. And you're like, okay, cool, that's fine. And you just start that relationship. Over time, it shows consistency, and it also shows confidence in your work and that you want to work with them. And it's not just like, you're not just looking for money, because one thing about business and about what we do is at the end of the day, it is about the bottom line and profit for a lot of these companies and like how much money in sales that you can bring them. For example, I'm in New York right now. I'm sitting in Central Park talking to you. I built about a year relationship with a client, and now there's a project that made sense to bring me on and fly me out. And that's not the only case, but that's just a prime example. And another reason why I chose to talk about it today, because you can do it. Put the time and effort into understanding the people that you're trying to work with and go from there. And you never know. It's as simple as like just DMing someone, right? So this one was through a mutual connection, but then in the past, I've started off with just a cold DM and been like, yo, what's up? Or you just interact with their content, you like it, you comment every once in a while, and then you shout them out on the stories if it's social media on Instagram, and you just show them consistent love. And over time, they're gonna take notice. It doesn't matter how many following or how big of an influence that they have, they will take notice. To recap what we're talking about, you're not just a videographer, you're a storyteller. And then from there, you can look at providing solutions and go in, see what people need, add that value. The third and final point that we talked about was the long game. And it's my personal favorite because honestly, that's how we become long in this game. I mean, that's like a play on words, but longevity is so important. And you don't want to always be on that hamster wheel of, okay, I just finished this job, now what next? Thank you for taking the time to sit down with me, whether you're standing, wherever you're at, and listen to this today. And go fucking crush it. Peace out.